Weaver's right. We're out of time. The Russians fucked you up.
What's going on, everybody? This is dkdynamite, and today we have some pretty shocking news on a Sunday. Really did not expect this. We have the names of every campaign level, the names of every single multiplayer map, and the name of the one zombies map that is currently in the files for Call of Duty 2020. Now, besides that too, we even have some more information thanks to verified insiders like the Long Sensation, who had a little bit more to say about the huge data mine earlier this morning. But also keep in mind, I still will be going live later on my channel with the Black Ops Declassified grind on PS Vita, earning the Platinum Trophy in the game itself. I'll probably be going live about an hour or so after this video goes live, but I really had to get this video out there because there's quite a bit to discuss. So for those out there who have access to the Red Door over on their Xbox, they were able to actually data mine the Red Door Alpha to find all of this information. So before we jump into that, I just wanted to remind you guys that my Discord server link is down below in the description. It's called the Bomb Shelter. Definitely stop by, definitely hang out with all of us in the community. It's definitely a blast talking to all you guys whenever you guys can. Once again, the link is down below in the description. But starting off with the list of campaign missions, we have KGB taking place in Russia, Siege taking place in Russia, Yamento, I think I said that wrong, but it's also in Russia, Takedown, which is a side mission, Tundra, which is a side mission. We then have Hub and Hub 8 respectively, both in Germany, Stakeout in Germany, Armada and Prisoner that are in Vietnam. We then have Revolucion in Nicaragua, and America in Russia, and last but not least, Duga in Russia. So keep in mind, a lot of these maps take place in Russia, or I should say a lot of these campaign levels take place in Russia. So the Cold War will play more of a role in this game's storyline versus Vietnam. Fairly similar to Black Ops 1 in my opinion, right? I'm getting vibes of Black Ops 1 already, but it's really cool that we're getting some side missions in here. Kind of reminds me of, you know, the bonus levels that we had in the Black Ops 2 campaign. So hopefully this ends up being really damn exciting. But I think that's a fair amount of campaign levels thus far, considering the rough development they've had with Call of Duty 2020. But again, it goes back to saying, you know, the Cold War makes more sense as a title for this game than Vietnam. You know, as clean as Call of Duty Vietnam would look, it just seems like the Cold War is playing a bigger role this time around. But as Charlie Intel also reported, it's important to note that these are most likely internally code names for campaign missions or in development names for them as the game's development wraps up ahead of the Q4 2020 launch of the game. They're still hearing that the game is coming out before, you know, before New Year's, so we're definitely going to be seeing this game as Call of Duty 2020, not Call of Duty 2021. Now for the multiplayer maps, as they also said, these are currently 8 multiplayer maps listed inside of the game files per the rumors. This list does match up with what was previously leaked from Exclusive Ace in his now deleted video. There could be more maps in the actual game when it launches, as this is still an in-development game. So we have Black Sea, Cartel, KGB, Miami, Moscow, Satellite, Tank, and Tundra. So I like how KGB is the name of the first campaign level in this game, or the internal name for it, and KGB is also going to be a multiplayer map. So you'll be seeing a lot of, you know, areas of campaign turned into multiplayer maps, of course, at launch. That's how Call of Duty works, right? And then, you know, Miami sounds pretty damn sick, right? I was just there, so I can't imagine how cool a Miami multiplayer map would be. Would probably give us similar vibes to Havana or something back from Black Ops 1 as well, even though that was in Cuba. But I think I could definitely see a really cool map, you know, in the Miami area. And Tank, of course, is the multiplayer map that we saw in the leaked alpha gameplay that was actually found a number of weeks ago too, so at least we're getting that at launch of the game. But we know Exclusive Ace talked about, I think, 10 maps or maybe even more. So who knows if all these maps will be at launch, if some of these are saved as like a pre-order bonus, or if some will be, you know, DLC later down the line. We actually have no idea, but at least we have, you know, a fair amount of maps, right? You know, 8's not too many. People are probably frustrated with that, but keep in mind, you know, in order for them to release the game, you know, during this pandemic, this is what they're able to give us. And you have Treyarch, Sledgehammer, and Raven all putting their work together to get this done. So I have hope in them. I really really do. But alongside multiplayer, there of course will be a zombies mode, and the internal name of the map for Call of Duty 2020 is Silver. So we all know Treyarch is known for using color code names for zombie maps in the past. So we know Ancient Evil was red, Alpha Omega was white, and Tag Your Toe In was orange, and we know the canceled Chaos map, which may end up coming out later down the line, it was going to take place after the events of Ancient Evil, was codenamed Blue. So they love their colors. I wonder what Silver could stand for. Maybe I'll make a separate video talking about the color code names in the future and what Silver could actually mean for the future of Call of Duty Zombies. But we also have some more when it comes to Warzone, which is really interesting, that references to different zones for a potential new map for Warzone, which is expected to carry over to the 2020 game. The zones include Dugga, Forest, Russia, and ski slopes. Now, I do believe Exclusive Ace actually went ahead and talked about ski slopes back in his now-deleted video, and in terms of why he deleted his video in the first place, who actually knows? I'm pretty positive because of his channel size and because of the amount of content in that video, Activision was like, you gotta take that down, right? We don't want that on YouTube. So I guess covering inside info or leaks of any sort when you're that big is a bit risky, even though other YouTubers of similar sizes or even bigger have talked about it. So I wonder if he mentioned something specifically that just had to be taken down. It might have been the identity of his actual source that he kind of slipped away a little bit. So maybe that's what it was, but hopefully he's alright. Hopefully not in any, serious legal trouble by any means. But we also have a very interesting tweet from the man himself, Long Sensation, also known as Tom Henderson. He went ahead and quote tweeted Charlie's report and said from 13 planned multiplayer maps to 8, just so they can release the game on time during a pandemic, this year you'll be paying the same amount of money for a lot less content, which sucks. And again, with that being said, it's like, do you guys want to wait until next spring or something to see the release of this game just so it has more content? Or would you rather them release it with at least 8 really good multiplayer maps, and then, more can come at some point periodically after that? And here's the thing, right? If all the content at launch is solid, it's working, it's stable, a lot of replayability behind it, if that's the case, I'm okay with a little bit less content just for the sake of it releasing when we're all expecting it to. But if it releases broken, has very minimal content, isn't replayable, then at that point I'm going to be like, you might as well just could have delayed it till, February or March, whenever the game would have been ready. As much as I don't want Modern Warfare and Warzone to be the core Call of Duties right now, I'd rather have that than them release another broken game and we have a repeat of Black Ops 4 all over again. But again, bigger isn't always better. So if they put out, a ton of content at launch, it could be overwhelming. Some of it might be pretty bad. Only some of it could be good. So in that case, it's like, all right, if they give us 8 maps out of 13, as long as the 8 maps are solid, I'll be good with it. I really will be. But, it doesn't seem like the 8 maps right now include any remakes, unless I've read something wrong. It doesn't seem like, we could see Nuketown or any other, familiar multiplayer maps in here, unless, one of these maps is a remake of something else, which is the new name. I highly doubt it, but 8 new maps at launch, which is awesome, and maybe we'll get Nuketown as a pre-order bonus, or maybe Firing Range or something else. We did hear reports from Tom Henderson before that we would be seeing Nuketown, Firing Range, I think it was Summit and Jungle at release, so maybe there'll be a pre-order bonus pack or something, right? Pre-order the collector's edition of the game, and you can receive, 4 classic multiplayer maps. I think that's fair enough, and that brings us back up to 12 maps, right? But with Exclusive Ace's report of, 10 maps, on its own, you can add those 4 remasters to it and you'll have 14. So I think that's pretty good math there. Hopefully we end up seeing that. But besides that too, also a little update on the information from one of my previous videos where the Red Door Alpha was codenamed Black Ops CIA on people's Xboxes. Of course, it's pretty ironic, right? Since the CIA plays a huge role in the Black Ops franchise. So when we all heard that, we're like, whoa, instead of Black Ops Cold War, it's Black Ops CIA now. And even as I said in my previous video, that wasn't certain. It said that on the Xbox, but that could very easily be another placeholder title, as Charlie Intel even suggested, right? There are so many placeholder titles for Treyarch's new game. Black Ops CIA may just be one of them, but as some people pointed out, CIA actually stands for Closed Internal Alpha, if I'm not mistaken, which obviously makes the most sense because the Red Door is the alpha of Treyarch's new game. It's just something that nobody really thought about when we saw that image pop on people's Xboxes, right? And, shout out to everybody out there who's an insider or a data miner who actually realized the CIA does stand for that and not the Central Intelligence Agency from, America. So that's just, worth pointing coming out, but hey, if the game was called Black Ops CIA, I would still accept that. It's still a pretty clean title. But with that being said too, the fact that it said Black Ops closed internal alpha makes me believe that the name of the game could very well still be just Black Ops with nothing after that. It would look really clean, even though we've already seen a game with that title before. They could just go the Modern Warfare approach, as we just saw, where the game was just called Modern Warfare, even though, you know, in a way it's still a bit different since Call of Duty 4 was Modern Warfare, whereas the new game is just Call of Duty Modern Warfare. So there's a difference there, you know, while the new Black Ops game, if it's just called Black Ops, would be exactly the same name as Treyarch's game from 2010. But people out there are also tweeting Charlie Intel asking whether or not Xbox would get the exclusivity for the game, and Charlie Intel replied nope. So they may know that PlayStation still has the deal, and I hope they still have the deal, because imagine going back, you know, to the competitor, which is Xbox, and nothing against Xbox players, but, you know, in all honesty, looking at how the next generation is being shaped right now, PlayStation has it down pretty well, right? We don't know much about the price yet, aside from what I reported from Long Sensation, but it just seems like PlayStation has it down with exclusives, the console design. I know hardware and horsepower may be a little inferior to the new Xbox, but that doesn't really matter. If you care about specs, get a fucking PC. That's where the specs really matter. But when it comes to like everything else to do with, you know, gaming lifestyle on console at least, PlayStation really has it down. So I highly doubt Activision will want to go back to Xbox after seeing the success of the PS5 reveal so far. But also with that too, what's really interesting is that back, I think it was with Black Ops 3, Activision and Sony signed a 5-year deal for PlayStation exclusivity for Call of Duty, and that deal essentially ended with the new Modern Warfare. However, I'm pretty sure they may have either renewed it by now, or they could have even renewed it before Modern Warfare even came out to just keep that deal going into the next generation. We also know from other insiders that when Modern Warfare 2 and 3 Remastered were planned a couple of years ago, Activision made it very clear that not only would they be exclusive to PlayStation for a little bit, but they also wanted to ensure that the first Call of Duty on the PlayStation 5 would be a Treyarch game for a number of reasons. And we know that's happening now, so it clearly seems like Activision and Sony have had a lot of talks about keeping that partnership alive, even past the original 5-year contract they signed. But let me know what you think of this down below in the comment section. This has been DK Dynamite. Leave all your thoughts down below in the comment section. I'll keep you guys updated with more Call of Duty 2020 info as the days go on. I'm sure we'll hear a lot more at some point this week. Be on the lookout for my stream later today and a really special Zombies video tomorrow. Peace out, everyone.